Sometimes the universe has a way of bringing people together when they need each other most. James Parker whispered these words to himself as he watched his daughter Lily sleeping peacefully beside the woman who had, in just 3 short months, become the missing piece of their broken family puzzle. The journey that brought them here began on a rainy Tuesday afternoon with a stranded car, a toolbox, and a 6-year-old's innocent question that would change everything. It had been raining for hours when James spotted the silver sedan pulled over on the shoulder of Maple Drive, hazard lights blinking desperately in the downpour. Any other day, he might have driven past. He was already running late to pick up Lily from her after-school program, and the rain was coming down in sheets. But something made him slow down. Maybe it was the way the woman stood helplessly beside her car, shoulders slumped in defeat, or maybe it was the small voice in his head that sounded suspiciously like his late wife reminding him that kindness matters. "Daddy, why are we stopping?" Lily asked from the back seat, her voice muffled by the stuffed elephant she clutched to her chest, the last birthday gift her mother had given her before cancer took her away 2 years ago. "Someone needs help, sweetheart," James replied, pulling his truck behind the stranded vehicle. "We'll just be a minute." The woman turned as James approached, rain plastering her dark hair to her face. Relief flooded her features, a look James recognized all too well. It was the same expression he'd worn countless times since becoming a single father, the grateful acknowledgement that someone had noticed you were drowning. "Car trouble?" he asked, raindrops sliding down his face. "The engine just died," she explained, gesturing helplessly. "I've called 3 mechanics, but they're all backed up for hours. I'm supposed to be at a job interview in 20 minutes. James nodded, understanding the weight of missed opportunities. "Pop the hood. I'm no mechanic, but I might be able to help." As he leaned over the engine, he felt a small presence beside him. Lily had unbuckled herself and ventured out into the rain, curiosity overcoming her usual shyness. "This is my daughter, Lily," James said, glancing up at the woman. "Lily, say hello to Olivia," the woman supplied with a warm smile, crouching down to Lily's level despite the rain soaking through her interview clothes. "I like your elephant. Does he have a name?" "Ellie," Lily whispered, clutching the stuffed animal tighter. "Mommy gave her to me before she went to heaven." James froze, his hands still on the car battery. Lily rarely mentioned her mother to strangers. The silence that followed was filled only with the patter of rain, until Olivia spoke again, her voice gentle. "Well, Ellie is very lucky to have you taking such good care of her." Something in Olivia's tone made James look up. There was no pity in her eyes, only understanding. Later, he would learn about the brother she had lost to the same cruel disease that took his wife, but in that moment, all he saw was someone who didn't flinch away from his daughter's pain. It took James 15 minutes to identify the problem, a loose connection in the battery terminal, and another 5 to fix it. By then, Lily had moved to stand beside Olivia, who had opened an umbrella to shield them both from the rain while telling Lily about the children's library she hoped to manage if she got the job. "There," James said, closing the hood. "That should get you to your interview." "Thank you," Olivia said, relief evident in her voice. "I don't know how to repay you." "No need," James replied, wiping his hands on his jeans. "Just paying it forward." As they prepared to part ways, Lily tugged on her father's sleeve, her eyes wide with an urgency that stopped him in his tracks. "Daddy," she whispered, though her whisper was loud enough for Olivia to hear. "Can she be my mom? I really like her." The silence that followed was deafening. James felt his face burn with embarrassment, but before he could stammer out an apology, Olivia knelt down in front of Lily. "You know," she said softly, "moms come in all different ways. Some are with us from the beginning, some find us along the way, and some watch over us from heaven. But what makes someone a mom isn't just a title, it's love." Lily considered this with the serious contemplation only a 6-year-old could muster. "Do you know how to love people?" Olivia's laugh was like sunshine breaking through storm clouds. "I'm still learning, just like everyone else." But I'd like to think I'm pretty good at it. Then maybe you could practice with us? Lily suggested, with the simple logic of childhood. James finally found his voice. Lily, that's not, I'm so sorry, he said to Olivia. Kids, you know. But Olivia was smiling. Actually, she said, reaching into her purse and pulling out a business card, I'd love to thank you properly for your help. Maybe coffee sometime? As James took the card, their fingers brushed, and he felt something he hadn't experienced in years, possibility. I'd like that, he said. What began as coffee turned into dinner, and dinner into weekend outings with Lily. James learned that Olivia had moved to town 6 months earlier to be closer to her aging parents after ending a long-term relationship with someone who didn't want children. She learned that James had been raising Lily alone since his wife Sarah's death, balancing his work as a high school science teacher with the demands of single parenthood. Their connection deepened over shared experiences and complementary differences. Where James was methodical and sometimes overthinking, Olivia was spontaneous and intuitive. Where she doubted her ability to build a family after years with someone who didn't want one, he showed her through his devotion to Lily what it meant to love unconditionally. But the path wasn't without its complications. 3 months into their relationship, as they sat on James's porch swing after putting Lily to bed, Olivia voiced the fear that had been growing inside her. What if I'm not enough, she whispered. What if I can never replace what she lost? James took her hand, his thumb tracing circles on her palm. Sarah was Lily's mother, and nothing will ever change that. But Lily doesn't need a replacement, she needs someone who loves her for who she is now, not for who her mother wanted her to be. And what about you? Olivia asked, her voice barely audible. What do you need? James looked at her then, really looked at her, seeing not just the woman who had captured his heart but the future he never thought he'd have again. I need someone who understands that my heart has scars but is still capable of loving completely, he said. I need someone who sees our story not as a sad one, but as one still being written. Olivia leaned into him, her head finding the space between his shoulder and chin that seemed made for her. I think I can be that someone. The following weekend, they took Lily to the botanical gardens, her favorite place because it had been her mother's favorite too. As they walked among the blooming flowers, Lily ran ahead, her laughter echoing through the greenhouse. She's different with you, James observed. Lighter somehow. Olivia watched Lily examining a butterfly that had landed on a nearby flower. Children are resilient, but they need permission to be happy again after loss. Sometimes that permission comes from seeing the adults they love finding joy. As if sensing she was being discussed, Lily bounded back to them, her cheeks flushed with excitement. Olivia. I found a flower that looks just like Ellie's ears. She grabbed Olivia's hand, pulling her toward the discovery. James followed a few steps behind, watching as Olivia knelt beside his daughter, their heads bent together over the elephant-eared plant. The sight stirred something profound in him, not the sharp pain of remembering Sarah that he'd expected, but a gentle acknowledgement that life was unfolding exactly as it should. That night, after tucking Lily into bed, James found Olivia in the living room, looking at the family photos on the mantel. She was holding one of Sarah, taken a few months before her diagnosis, radiant, healthy, her arms wrapped around a toddler Lily. She was beautiful, Olivia said softly as James approached. Yes, she was, he agreed, standing beside her. She would have liked you. Olivia placed the photo carefully back on the mantel. How can you know that? Because she always said that if anything happened to her, she wanted Lily and me to be happy. And you make us happy. Tears welled in Olivia's eyes. I never thought I'd find this, a ready-made family that somehow has space for me. We're not ready-made, James said, taking her hand. We're still figuring it out, day by day. But I know I want to figure it out with you. The next morning, as James prepared breakfast, he overheard Lily and Olivia in the living room. Curious, he paused by the doorway, coffee mug in hand. Lily sat cross-legged on the floor, Ellie the elephant in her lap, while Olivia braided her hair. "Olivia," Lily was saying, "do you think my mommy in heaven would be mad if I loved you too?" James held his breath, waiting for Olivia's response. "I think," Olivia said carefully, her fingers still working through Lily's hair, "that your mommy would want your heart to be so full of love that it spills over. Loving me doesn't take away any of the love you have for her." Lily nodded, considering this. "That's good, because I do love you. And I think Daddy does too." "He smiles more now." "Does he?" Olivia asked, and James could hear the smile in her voice. "Uh-huh. And he sings again. He used to sing all the time before Mommy got sick." James felt a lump form in his throat. He hadn't realized Lily had noticed the return of his old habits, the unconscious humming while he cooked, the radio turned up during car rides. "Well," Olivia said, tying off Lily's braid, "I love you too, Lily Parker. Very much. Enough to be in our family forever?" Lily asked. There was a pause, and James found himself holding his breath again. "That's a big question," Olivia finally said. "And one that your dad and I would need to talk about together. But I can tell you this, I can't imagine my life without you and your dad in it now." James stepped into the room then, his heart full. "That's good to hear," he said, "because we can't imagine our lives without you either." 6 months later, on the anniversary of the day they met, James took Olivia back to Maple Drive. The rain was gentler this time, a soft spring shower rather than the downpour of their first encounter. Lily sat in the back seat, now 7 years old and bursting with the secret her father had shared with her that morning. "Why are we stopping here?" Olivia asked as James pulled over to the exact spot where her car had broken down. "I thought we'd recreate our first meeting," James said with a smile. "Minus the car trouble." He got out and opened her door, then retrieved something from the truck bed, his old toolbox. Olivia laughed as he set it on the ground between them. "What are you doing?" "The first time we met, I fixed something that was broken," James said, rain dampening his hair. "But the truth is, you've fixed so much more for us." He opened the toolbox, but instead of tools, there was a small velvet box nestled inside. Olivia's hand flew to her mouth as James took out the box and knelt on the wet pavement. "Olivia Bennett, when Lily asked if you could be her mom that day, I thought she was just being a kid saying whatever came to mind. But children have a way of seeing what adults sometimes miss. She saw in minutes what took me weeks to realize, that you were exactly what we needed." He opened the box, revealing a ring with a simple solitaire diamond. "I'm not asking you to replace anyone. I'm asking you to help us build something new, a family that honors the past while embracing the future. Will you marry me?" Before Olivia could answer, the back door of the truck flew open and Lily scrambled out, unable to contain herself any longer. "Say yes," she exclaimed, jumping up and down in her rain boots. "Please say yes." Olivia laughed through her tears, looking from James to Lily and back again. "Yes," she said. "Yes to both of you." As James slipped the ring onto her finger, Lily threw her arms around them both, creating a circle that felt like the most perfect shape in the world. 1 year later, James stood in their backyard, watching as Olivia helped Lily plant flowers in the garden they had created together. On the fence hung a small wooden plaque that read, "Sarah's Garden," a tribute to the woman who would always be part of their story. "Daddy, look!" Lily called, holding up a handful of soil. "We found a worm. Olivia says it's good luck for the garden." "Is that so?" James asked, joining them. "Gardener's wisdom," Olivia said with a wink. "Passed down through generations of Bennett women, and now to the Parker women too." Lily beamed at being included in this lineage. At 8, she was growing into a thoughtful, compassionate child who spoke of her birth mother with love and her stepmother with adoration. That night, after Lily was asleep, James and Olivia sat on the porch swing that had witnessed so many of their important conversations. I got a call from the adoption attorney today, Olivia said, her fingers intertwined with his. The paperwork should be finalized next month. Though they had married 6 months earlier, the legal adoption of Lily was a step they had approached with careful consideration, wanting to ensure that Lily understood what it meant. How do you feel? James asked. Olivia was quiet for a moment. Grateful, she finally said. Grateful that life took me down that rainy road at exactly the right moment. Grateful that your toolbox had just what was needed to fix my car. Grateful that Lily asked the question neither of us would have been brave enough to ask. James smiled, remembering the embarrassment he'd felt in that moment, never imagining it would lead to this perfect contentment. Sometimes, he said, echoing the thought that had come to him on so many nights as he watched his new family together, the universe has a way of bringing people together when they need each other most. Olivia rested her head on his shoulder, the porch swing creaking gently beneath them. And sometimes, she added, a broken-down car is the beginning of the journey home. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming tales of love, family, and second chances. Sometimes the most beautiful beginnings come from unexpected moments, and we're here to share those stories with you every week. Thank you for watching.